Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we've got a couple of knives that we're going to be reviewing. These are from Bird Blades. This is the fixed blade Grackle. Let's take a look at this. This is the long-term review. All right, today we're reviewing a couple of really awesome knives. This is the fixed blade Grackle. This was designed by Bird Blades, he gave me a chance to take a look at these. These are the variants, like I said, of two of the same knives, so it is based off of the Grackle design. I actually have the Grackle right here. This is the Grackle production folding knife right here. Really like this knife a lot. It's really smooth, buttery smooth, really fantastic knife here. One of those knives that was just such a surprise and everything. Somebody shared one of these with me and I reviewed it and I thought, man, now his was super strong detent and it was really crisp and he liked it that way. But mine, if I tuned it just a little bit, it became just perfect. Just beautiful to drop shut and just really wonderful just to work with. I mean, it's really even a great knife to use left-handed and everything. I like that a lot. So easy to get to and work with. So just a really fantastic knife. I say all that because this is supposed to be, you know, kind of like the Grackle fixed blade. So you can see some similarities, you know, with the blade shape and the handle, right? You see some of that. It's kind of, but this is translated into I think what's considered a very EDC sized knife. And I like that. So this particular Grackle, these two, there are two variants. This is the G10 handles, and it's nice because you have the little torque screw where you could remove this and clean it if you're using this for hunting and, you know, or just prepping food or something. And then you have the titanium scales. Now, full tang on both of these goes all the way through. Magna cut blade. Now, these are both prototypes, so he's sharing these with me. Really nice in hand. It's right at the limit of my hand, but the thing about this one, it's got some nice jimping. I consider this like the perfect EDC carry. I would take this clip and I would turn it sideways, get maybe a different clip, maybe get an ulti clip that goes sideways. So you could certainly put this in the pocket. It's a really very friendly pocket clip right here. So if you like to put this in your front pocket or maybe a utility belt or something like that, but you could absolutely pocket carry this really nicely, right? It'll go in really, really nice. Has a nice click in there, that nice Kydex sheath, which I really like. Of course, a little hole in case you're outside and it's wet and it can drip out, right? But it's adjustable, right? And I could put a tech lock, or you could put an ulti clip, whatever. You can vary it up a little bit because I would probably carry it vertically like this on my left side, so I could pull it out like this. Because sometimes, many times, I carry a fixed blade when I have a nicer knife that I don't want to, you know, beat up and I need to do some work. So it's always nice to have a fixed blade for that. So that's what I really liked about this. Just wanted to make sure I confirmed this correctly. This was, in fact, the OEM, as along with the knife here, was done by Bestech. And Bestech's just doing some lights out stuff. They're right up there with Riot as far as I'm concerned. And there's some designs I really like Bestech better than Riot, quite frankly. Really nice. HRC on this one's going to be 63, I believe, maybe 64, somewhere around there. But it's a reasonable fixed blade HRC, being that it's Magna cut. It's going to be particularly tough. It's a little thinner blade. We're going to do some measurements here in a second. We'll kind of get into that. But yeah, this is really nice. So the materials, titanium scale with carbon fiber inlay, beautiful. Just kind of spruced it up a little bit. It's a little more expensive, makes it a little more premium. It's nice. Then you have the G10 right here, a little lighter, a little more versatile, a little more, I guess, I don't know, user friendly, whatever you want to call it, right? So both of these have some pluses and negatives depending on what you want. If you like the premium, you can absolutely get the premium. If you want something a little more, you know, conservative, that you're going to hard use, whatever, then this is great, right? And you can save yourself some money. And this does add some weight to it. It does move the center of the blade way back here, where with the G10, the center of the blade, is it about the same? It's about there. Where is it with this one? Is it right there? I guess it's about the same. It feels heavier. And I don't know why. It does. It feels heavier. Okay. Maybe it's because there's a little weight up here too. I don't know. All right. But if you wanted a little lighter, then definitely get that, right? What else? We typically talk about how it opens and closes, but it's a fixed blade. So really, how does it go into the Kydex sheath? I like Kydex sheaths. Personally, it's my favorite. I'm not a leather sheath fan. Some people are. People love leather sheaths. Now, I like a leather slip on a slip joint. Absolutely love that. Every leather sheath I've ever had on a fixed blade I cut and ruin. And so that's why I'm not a big fan. But I think this is nice. This is really nice. Very functional, extremely well. I love the little spot here. This, to me, is so important in case you need to deploy it and it's not clipped in your pocket. It's nice to be able to push that out. Or like if you're trying to get it out nice and quietly, you can do that, right? Even if it's clipped in. You don't have to pull up on it all the time. There's another one fixed blade I reviewed recently. Really nice, by the way. And missing that little thing. I wish they had it. It was a little sharp and it was a little hard to kind of sometimes push out. You really had to make sure it was tucked in there. And it had no clip. So it's like, come on, if you're going to give me no clip, I want to be able to take it out if I'm going to carry it maybe just in my pocket. This is nice. This is nice. So thank you. What else are we talking about? So we talk about the blade. It is kind of a, we can call it a clip point. I mean, I call this one right over here a clip point as well, right? It's technically a clip point. It's not a drop point. It's a clip point. It's not a buoy. It's a clip point. So I would call this a clip point. It's almost got a harpoon kind of feel to it going up high, but it's really functional. You can put your finger in there. I love that this is rounded, nice and rounded. I can come in here and choke up. It's like a finger guard. I can definitely hold it and present well and feel solid in hand. It has enough widths that I can turn my cuts, right? I've had knives where it's perfectly round and it turns in your hand. It feels like it's going to slide off your fingers, are going to go over there. Finger guard, it's not going to slide over the blade. You can turn the cut, and so that's nice. Nice and thick all the way to the tip. It's got a little bit of a thin tip, so be careful. It's not a prying tool. Use the right tool for the right job, right? If you're going to pry, get a pry bar. If you want to start, cutting logs down, get an axe, or, this is probably a fixed blade. You can work on kindling in the firewood. Absolutely, I would use that. I have done that with almost all of my fixed blades, right? So that's what I like to have about them. So definitely this, if I'm doing some hard work, I'm going to use this over this. So if I'm carrying these two, I'd like to carry one of this around, around my belt, and then have this I pull out, I'll cut an apple, cut whatever, paper, boxes. But if I need to get into something and I'm not sure if they're staples, whatever, I can pull this out and I can just go to work with it, go to town with it. I can cut branches, all sorts of stuff. This feels like that kind of tool, and it's small, it's clandestine. It's not a big giant knife that you have to worry about, so you can carry it with you out wherever you're going, if you're working, if you're going to, Home Depot, whatever. Texas, at least it's legal, I'll tell you that. I don't know about your state. You follow your state and local knife laws, right? So I like that. I like that. So that's how it works. I love the blade grind, nice flat grind. It's very slicey, comes down to a very thin edge. This is going to be a very slicey knife. It's not super, super thick. I'm going to guess we're probably at 100 thousandths of an inch or less. It doesn't feel super thick. So we'll get the measurements here in a second. And then, yeah, let's do some weights. So I'm gonna measure the knife first, each in their sheath. So first we have the carbon fiber one with the titanium kind of handle, 4.3 ounces. So let's see, what is this one? Okay, so it is 0.3 ounces heavier. So this is 4.0 ounces. So this is a little lighter. All right. So let's measure it without the sheath. This one is 2.9 ounces. 2.6, 2.5 ounces. All right, so almost 0.4, 0.3 difference of an ounce. How much are the both? That must mean one of these is a little heavier. Yeah, so this one has an extra ounce. So I mean, technically, if I did that and that, then this one would be probably a little like 0.5. So it'd be 4.4 ounces, and then this one's going to be like 3.9 maybe. Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's right at the edge, right? So I don't know why it's a little heavier and why it's not. It might have a little bit more Kydex material. Maybe the Kydex material is just a little thicker. Kydex is one of those things. It's not perfectly uniform, just like every blade stock is not exactly the same. There's a little differences, right? So, it's a general area what we're trying to get toward, right? All right, so let's do a little measurements on the length here. So both of these should be the exact same, and we'll confirm, right? So within the Kydex sheath, this is right just over 7.5 inches. It's like 1/16 inch over 7.5, right? And how about this one? Oh, wait a second. Am I 7.5? Wow, this is 7 3/4. So this one's a little bit longer. Interesting. Okay, all right. I don't know if it's the Kydex sheath or something. Let's measure the Kydex sheath, because this one, remember, this is a little heavier. So a Kydex sheath on this one is 5 inches. Kydex sheath on this one is 5 inches. All right, so let's look at the length from here to here. We're looking at 2 inches, and let's from the very tip up there to here, we're looking at 2 1/8 of an inch. So here we're looking at 2 inches, a little shy of 2 inches. But we're looking up here, we're looking at about 1/8 of an inch. So they're about the same. Must be just thicker material, right? All right. So let's measure these guys overall. So the carbon fiber one with the carbon fiber inlay titanium, we're looking at 6 3/4, just a 1/16 inch over 6 3/4. And then this one right here is going to be 6 3/4 with a 1/16 of an inch over. So they're almost exactly the same. Let's look at the handle. So if we go in here from about right here, we've got about 3.5 inch handle. If we go here, we got 3.5-inch handles. So that's about the same. So it must be just how this is presented in there. All right, so the blade length here, we're looking at 3 3/8 of an inch. And then here we're looking at 3 3/8 of an inch. Actually, cutting length over here is going to be just a quarter, a 16th inch past 3 1/4. And then this one right here is, yeah, about just a little under quarter of an inch, under 1/16 of an inch past 3 1/4. Almost identical, very, very close, within reasonable expectations, right? All right, so let's get our blade stock thickness here on this one. So I said I thought these were pretty thin. So let me measure that. We're right 199 thousandths or 100 thousandths of an inch. So it's definitely not a thick blade, which is cool. This is definitely a slicer. And let's measure this guy over here. Again, 99, 98, 99, 98.5, 98 thousandths of an inch. And going out to the tip where the thick part is, about the same. All right, so, you know, it's not a thick blade, but it's not a crazy thin blade. I mean, I've seen thinner, but it's definitely thin for a fixed blade. But the good news is it's MagnaCut. It's HRC 63, so it's a good toughness. It's going to be a good tough blade, which is nice. It's a nice small slicer. You're going to feel really solid. You're going to be able to use this. I feel like it's like going to be a perfect little kind of workhorse knife, and that to me is what I really dig about this knife. I think that's really cool. So I was very pleased to get a chance to check these out. I don't have a lot of fixed blades. I'm not a big fixed blades guy. I have 4 fixed blades right now, 2 that I used, no 3. I have a Jonathan McNee's Ridge Runner. I have a Dread Eye from Tactile Knife Company. I have one from, can't remember. And then I have a custom one from Mr. Eddie. So those are my 4 right now. I may have a 5th one that I bought recently. It's one that I really want. It's a bigger blade. I wouldn't mind getting another one of these. I just don't have the funds right now to get one of these. But if I were, I was going to get a G10 for sure. It'd be this one right here. That's the one that I would be very interested in getting. I like it. I think it's really cool. It's a nice little design. It's a nice little blade. I think everything about it's really cool. So that would be the one I would get. The titanium doesn't do a whole lot for me. And what I like about G10 is not only that I could round certain things if I wanted to. I could put a little pattern on there. I could, you know, with a file, I could put a little texture if I needed to do that, to have a little extra grip. If I find it slippery for whatever job I'm doing, right? If I wanted, you know, change it, I could, right? And the nice thing is these scales come off so that, you know, you could custom order some. And it would be cool to custom order these scales, right? To have something you can put on them. So I like that. I like that a lot. MagnaCut means it's going to retain its edge. It's going to be relatively good on edge retention. The higher the HRC, the better I think the edge retention is. The lower it is, the tougher it is, but the less the edge retention, right? So at least that's been my experience, what I've observed. It's not necessarily a rule of thumb. I know there's other steels that retain edge much better. S110V, 90V, you know, those can all probably outperform for sure. 3V, M4, all those guys, right? 15V, Rex 121, Maximet, you know, those are super steels as far as edge retention, but this is tough. This is a nice, tough, use and abuse type of knife. I like that. So, very cool. All right. So what does this knife fall into? What is the category for this knife? Well, I know that the G10 runs around 225. I'm pretty sure of that, and I'll double check that. The carbon fiber one with the carbon fiber inlay with the titanium handle is $285. So $225, $285, $60 difference. So, you know, is this premium? That's up to you. I think if you really like titanium handles, you like the inlays, it absolutely could be worth it. If that's important to you, it's done really well. This carbon fiber inlay is beautiful. I don't notice a transition. It's solid in there. It's very smooth carbon fiber. That shredded carbon fiber looks fantastic. It's not all holy and kind of, you know, bunch of voids or anything. I'm sure that no carbon fiber is perfect and is bound to have a void or two there, but this is really done well. Bestech is getting right up there with Riot. Riot was always known for their carbon fiber inlays just being absolutely meticulously perfect. And when I first looked at this, I could have sworn this was like a Riot made carbon fiber inlay. So there you go. I think it's fantastic. But I personally would get this one because I would want to be able to use and abuse. And it's a little lighter for me. And that makes it just a little easier and a little more comfortable to carry. And it's a nice size. I like it. I just got to make sure I get a nice cross sheath. The only thing is, you know, I don't have a top and a bottom here. So when I do it, it's going to be a single one, probably going in here or here. So it's resting against this part here where it locks in, right? So I want to be able to lock it in and then have that standing there. It would be like this in my pocket, and I'd pull it out with my left hand, because I sometimes carry another, concealed thing on the right side for me, and that's legal in Texas, and I do that. So, it's for personal protection, and I'm certified for it. So there you go. But I like to have a fixed blade, and also like to have a folding knife, quite frankly. Like right now, for instance, if I go anywhere, my folding knife right now is this Utzler Duckling. It's a really high premium knife with a dark Damascus clip, magnet cut. Beautiful, beautiful, fantastic knife. Love it, right? I wouldn't want to get stuck somewhere where I have to use it and abuse it. So it's nice to carry a fixed blade. This is where one of these would be just super banging awesome. The more I talk about this, the more I handle this, the more I think I'm going to get this one. I'm going to probably pre-order this. I really, really like this. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. I don't know if it's this week or next week, but I think I'll probably pre-order this. I'm selling a few knives because I got some other things, and so I'm hoping that I can there'll be enough funds for me to get this. So that's my goal. Yeah. Anyways, it is in the pre-order still. I don't know how long that pre-order is in place. So whenever you see this video, has that pre-order already closed? Does he have inventory in? Is it already in? I don't know. But check the link down below and it'll definitely tell you, okay? As of this video right now, I saw that you could still pre-order it. So there you go. All right. Really nice. Really, really nice knife. I think you would do well. You would do well. Yeah. So very, very cool. All right. What else can I think about? So we talked about the price. That puts us in definitely in the regular category as far as both of these, right? $225, $285. But the purpose, EDC hard use collection piece, you can collect anything you want. The only thing I don't think is a collection piece is a super budget or budget knives. Those aren't collection piece. You can still collect them. You do whatever you want, but I don't consider them collection pieces. I consider those use and abuse and dispose, right? And replace. This is not that. This absolutely could be a collection piece, but everything in my collection is a EDC thing. I carry, I use it, right? I have one Safe Queen. It's my dad's knife bought before World War II. It's over 100 years old. That's a Safe Queen. That has meaning. It's probably not even worth that, but it's Safe Queen because of what it means, right? So even the two knives my wife bought for me for my anniversary, I use them. I'm still going to take care of them, right? I'm going to be nice to them, but I carry them. So I would absolutely carry this. This is something that I would absolutely hard use. This would be, considering the thickness of the blade. Now I have a 3V McNeese Ridge Runner. If I got to go out and do some hard camping, backpacking, whatever, I'd probably bring that one. But this would be nice for carrying around the house, outside in the yard, if I'm working somewhere. This would be really, really nice. Just a really good workhorse kind of knife. I'd be very happy to do that. So yeah, I think it's definitely in that hard use for what the job is, right? Overall design, what did I think about the handle? Handles are beautiful, very contoured, very shaped, everything's chamfered, super comfortable. I mean, ergonomically it works. Even for my big old large hands with big meaty fingers, I can get a full 4 on there. It's coming off with a little bit on the edge, and if you're okay with, if you like smaller knives, even if you have bigger hands and you like smaller knives, you're okay doing 3.5, whatever, I think an extra large, big meaty fingers would be great. If you don't care and 3 fingers is perfectly okay, and you really want a smaller knife, then you could be a double X, triple extra large, big meaty hands, right? It would work, but it works. If I had 3 fingers, it still works. It works really solid. I'm holding 3 fingers, keeping the pinky up. It feels solid in the hand like this, even without the pinky. Bringing the pinky on there just gives me a little bit of extra presentation for me, personally, but that's because that's my natural grip. Now, if my natural grip was right there, yeah, it still feels really solid. So there you go. I love the fact it has a finger guard. I love the jimping. Jimping is very functional. Everything is nice. There's nothing crazy sharp on here, but even if I needed to, like if I needed to start a fire, if I was bringing this with me and I had my flint or something like that, or gosh, what the heck, a Ferris rod. I have enough edge down here. I could do it right there. That would absolutely work. So there you go. Usually Ferris rods will have their own kind of strike point, but if you had to and you're stuck in a place, you could still use the knife. All right, that's the overall jimping. Jimping, we talked about that. Lanyard, there's no lanyard on this. And so the reason why it doesn't have a lanyard, I mean, it's small enough that a lanyard would make sense on something like this, but it doesn't have a lanyard. And I can respect that because I feel like this is more really intended as a personal EDC type of knife. It's not really meant to be out there in the woods because it's a thinner for a camping type of knife. This to me feels more like a work knife, something you carry around with you when you're walking around, you're in the house, you're maybe working on the house, maybe you're working at a job, whatever. It feels like a tool, a good tool, right? And so to me, a lanyard's not important. But if lanyard's important to you, it's definitely something to consider. I think you could easily put your own lanyard in there if you wanted to drill it. Get someone to do that. That's certainly a possibility. There's definitely a little spot there that would allow that and invite that, but I like it not having it personally. So to me, I really appreciate that. All right, overall feel, it feels solid. It's nice, small EDC. It is very specific. If you're looking for a giant, you know, outdoor kind of like K-bar, military tactical, this is not it. This is a personal EDC tool for working around the house, doing stuff around the house, you know, maybe outside the house, maybe at your job, maybe at work, whatever. This is a tool, and it feels like a really solid tool. And for me, in my hand, it works really well. I like it. I like it. And I can pinch grip this all day. I could do some cuts. I can really work this hard. I know for Cole, I think he likes to tri-state. He does this for his pinch grip. But for me, if I'm doing like a precision cut, I'm doing that. This feels really solid in the hand. It's very controllable. I like that. All right, so overall feel is great. What about the fidget factor? It's a fixed blade. Typically, you get a 1. I mean, even if you have a leather sheath and it's just a blade, you get a 1. But you have a nice Kydex sheath that goes in and out. That's deployed, goes in and out, retracts well, that fits your knife well, can pop in, can pop out, right? You can get that nice pop, a nice Kydex sheath with a nice clip, solid in there, solid deployment, and I can even deploy like that. You're gonna get a 2. So this is like a good fixed blade is a 2. Sometimes you can get a 3. That's rare, but you can get a 3. Usually it's a 2.5 rounded up to a 3. That's about the best I do. But it could be a 3, right? But this is a solid 2. It's really good. I like it. What's my fidgety goodness on it? I like it, man. It's done well. I mean, every little ergonomic thing that I could think of on here on a small EDC type of knife, he's got it. Finger guard, chimping, nice thin blade, super slicey, rounded, comfortable, just enough width that I can control the cut. I mean, enough solid that I can do things. I mean, it feels really good. It's got enough of a tip that I can get where I need to. It's got a nice thin Kydex sheath. It's got a nice clip. I mean, I'd obviously get an oldie clip going this way, but I mean, I could use it like this in the pocket and it works well, right? So that's nice. It pops in out. It's got an easy deployment. So, I mean, the fidgety goodness on this one for a fixed blade, for 2 out of 10, of that 2, I'm going to give it 100. Absolutely 100. It's a prototype, so you know. Ultimately, when I see my production version, when I order it, I'll let you know. We'll do an unboxing and we'll say, hey, is it the same as the prototype? We'll compare, right? Usually, it always turns out to be better, right? Sometimes it may not, and that's a disappointment. It can happen. There's no guarantee in this world, but I mean, everything he has. I mean, this production version was just solidly solid. It was just really wonderful. I had no issues with this one right here. Love, love, love this knife. I think it's just a beautiful little folding knife. So if they can do such a good job as they did on here, I'm sure this is going to be outstanding. So yeah, I'm going to absolutely recommend this. It's a prototype. I'm reviewing a prototype. Just that's a caveat here, right? But it looks like this is what the production run's going to be. It looks really close. I didn't get any notes on him making any changes on this. I think everything's going to be the same. I think that's really solid. So I will ask him, and if there's any notes, I'll put it in the description if I hear anything. But I think it's a solid design just as it is. So I definitely got to recommend this. I definitely recommend the pre-order. If you still see this one, it's still in pre-order. If he's already done with the pre-order, he's got inventory, he has some available, I'd say buy it, right? It's a nice size knife. I got to tell you, so I don't have the production version yet, so I'll take it with a caveat, but if I had found this and I compared it to the Dread-Eye and I was to pick between the Dread-Eye and this, honestly, personally, me right now, I would pick this over the Dread-Eye for the ergonomics. I just like the ergonomics of this better. I like the Dread-Eye a lot. Don't get me wrong. I like my Dread-Eye a lot. I've had it for a long time, enjoyed it. It's a great knife. It's got good ergos. It has just a little slightly longer handle, so in some ways it's different, right? It feels more solid, but it's more square. It doesn't have this little part right there where I feel I have more control on the cut, like a turn cut, right? This one feels like that. It feels like I can just, you know, if I'm cutting into, like, you know, prepping food or something, or if you're hunting and you're taking care of what you just, you know, took care of, you can really control that slice, right? You can prep your game if you need to, right? So I like that. Yeah, definitely recommend it. I like it a lot. So I think you should, if you get a chance to, definitely check it out. So there you go. Hey, thanks so much for checking this out. If you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, entertaining, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the channel really helps me out. It allows me to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who watches the videos, who enjoys the content, who's part of the channel, who comments, who's on the live streams. I appreciate you guys so very much. I'm humbled by you and appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit that notification button down below as well so you can be notified of future content like this video. And a big shout out, thank you to all my channel members. I appreciate you guys, sincerely. You encourage me many times. I don't do this full time. I do this part time. I do it for fun. And sometimes, you know, when the fun is struggling, you guys help my fun factor. You really do. You encourage me. You make this even more fun. So thank you. Thank you. You also are generous in your memberships, and it helps me to do things way sooner than I ever thought I'd be able to do. And for that, I'm very grateful. And for that, I want to do 2 exclusive things for channel members. A small way for me to say thank you because you've been so generous to me. I want to be generous back, right? I would love to do it for everyone, but I can only do it. Give everyone the opportunity is a once a month members exclusive giveaway. Now I do a weekly giveaway. Usually it's a budget banger. That's my typical weekly giveaway. But every month I try to have an exclusive members only giveaway. It's usually a much nicer, more kind of a regular knife, right? It's not just a budget knife. It's a regular knife. Sometimes it might even be in the high end, but normally it's a regular knife. And so I do that, and that's my small way to say thank you to you guys. I also make sure that, you know, if you're a brand new channel member, or as long as you're a current member right now, you're a current member, and you're either a brand new channel member, been a member all along, or became a member again that you were a member before, as long as you're a member right now, you've never gotten a channel sticker, you've never requested one, I've never mailed you one, email me with your name and address. I would love to mail you a channel sticker, small, and a little note to say thank you, to let you know I appreciate you. So those are the 2 things I would like to do for my channel members, just to let you know how much I appreciate you. Now, if you're curious, hey, how to become a channel member? How does that happen? Check out the link down below in the description. There's a link for 3 different tiers. Don't ever feel obligated to be a channel member. Do it because you want to, and if you do, I'm grateful. Thank you. But there's a low tier, medium, and a high tier, right? That's what I have right now. And the high tier, if you're like an Uber nerd, you get an extra premium sticker. And the second and the high tier, you also get exclusive content. So just know that that's also something for you guys exclusively. All right. So thank you to every one of you guys out there. I appreciate you all watching. If you haven't already, check me out on Instagram at Robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at Robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great week.